Hey folks, welcome back to Me and MS. My name is Michael. This week I wanted to talk about the importance of community. MS can often feel like such a personal disease and like it's you against the world, and really, no one else understands what you're going through. And, some days you're feeling fine and others you're not. Then at some point, your ability just changes for good, and it can feel even more isolating. I'm not gonna lie, I miss being out there every day, having somewhere to go, like the office or better yet, a coffee shop, and just generally being more active and able to get up and go on my own. Um, you know, but all this can just also just be a little due to where I am in life too. But this is why having a community is so important. Your community reaffirms that your world is larger than just you and whatever walls you may find yourself in daily, both physically walls and mental walls. When I am out now, I love seeing people I know. And, of course, there are your close friends who you make plans with, which is absolutely crucial. But so much can be said about, your other friends and acquaintances around town. I get such a high just seeing someone and chatting for a second who I wasn't necessarily expecting to, or maybe I was more expecting to see someone like a favorite bar or restaurant, that bartender or shop owner or other regulars and people in the scene. But I love it. It reminds me that I am connected. As an aside, I will say part of that is just due to the nature of where I live, Charleston, South Carolina. A big, it's kind of a big small city. To extol its virtues for a minute, I moved here 7 years ago, and it was such a welcome change. I had been living in DC for my adult life, and until I moved here, and although I definitely had friends that I would see regularly up there, those groups tended to come and go and morphed, and I never did feel like I had a regular spot, or when I tried to make a regular spot, that the people there just, you know, there couldn't care much one way or the other. There's so many people in and out. I guess that is more apropos to a larger city. But in Charleston, everyone seems to be 2 degrees of separation from each other. But you're constantly meeting new people. It's large enough too. But just don't be surprised if you have a mutual friend or have crossed paths in the past. There are definite characters around. I think the best analogy is a friend. When I first moved here, we were at a local music festival, and he's a popular guy. Everyone knows him, and was saying hi to him. And I remarked of everyone here. He's like, dude, trust me, it's kind of like an episode of The Simpsons here. Of I could point there. That's him. That's what he does, and he knows her because they used to be a thing, and I know them through him, and that, and it's just everyone kind of has their thing they do, and you eventually come to know everyone who's in the room with you, which has definitely been true. But yeah, there are enough people here where you can constantly meet new people. But just don't be surprised if you have that mutual friend or have crossed paths in the past. And I love that connection, honestly. It hasn't come back to bite me, and it's kind of fun to piece those connections together. It just comes by keeping yourself out there and talking to new people, and the ones that matter will reciprocate, and the ones that don't, they don't. But back to my point, the MS community is important too, especially your local one. I definitely recommend finding a local support group or of folks who have MS, whether it's sponsored by the National MS Society. Actually, they are pretty good if there's of sponsoring MS community. So definitely check out the National MS Society website for references there. But they're good too. You can of course commiserate with everyone and their own MS symptoms, and help you get where you need to be, bouncing off ideas one another and learning from each other of how they cope with it. But it's also great to share your own experience too. It may help someone who's newly diagnosed or dealing with an issue for the first time, and it's super crucial and important and useful to vocalize community issues too. Especially like finding the best care and providers around town. That's always a fun topic to discuss. And then there's also the online MS community of MSers with YouTube channels, Instagram profiles, Facebook groups. There's a lot out there, and just having that, learning from people, and sharing your experience and asking questions can go a long way. And personally, I love sharing these videos with you, and also especially receiving the feedback that I may be helping someone get through the same issue or think about things from a different point of view. Engaging with your community just reminds you that there is life outside of where you spend your days and outside of your head. There are people who care about you and your situation, and there is measurable value in connecting and learning from each other. So I'll close by thanking my communities, my family, my close friends, my friends around town, and my fellow MSers. You all have done more to help me cope with all of this than you realize, and I'm greatly appreciative. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll catch you all on the next one. Thanks.